in the process of retrofitting is running HPS single-ended lights.
Okay.
But right now we're about to harvest this week, and that room has stacked like it's never stacked before.
Oh,
So
wow.
we really have dialed in the program, the feeds. It is just looking really great with the help of my grower Mark and the other staff that we have. We have really just gotten this place dialed in now, and
Do you
we're
think
really
the
excited
weight
for the future.
do you think the weight that's being put on is just from you guys having it dialed in and figuring out, your lighting, your nutrients and everything? Is that where it's coming from, or could it be something else?
I think it's definitely our feeds and the plant maintenance that we've been doing. We've got a program now that we really like. We've found a combination of nutrients that we really like. The recipes that we've got going are really helping us move those plants along. And they were produced previously, but not to the extent that we have seen this room stacked this time around. So it's been a journey, 2.5, 3-year journey. But I think we are at a place now where we are just going to the rooms are just going to crush.
That
And
is so exciting.
We're really happy with it. In fact, with untethering, we're short on flower, so we've been increasing production. We actually had to stand up some emergency grow tents and stuff a bunch of plants in there to produce more and more flower for our patients, because regardless of what other products are on the market, flower is still well over 60 to 70% of our monthly sales.
And Justin, I think that's across the board in almost every state that I've either had somebody do a podcast with or we've been and visited it. Flower's still king. As much as I even personally, I'm not a flower fan. I still utilize flower, but I would much rather use a vape cartridge or, tincture or something like that. It's just so discreet.
Mm-hmm.
But man, flower is still king everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And I'm the same way. I opt for discretion when I can, especially if I'm medicating throughout the day or need to medicate throughout the day. But flower is still number one. Everybody loves flower.
That is so true. So do you guys have a veg room set up? Do you have a clone room set up, or how are you keeping the genetics going through different generations?
So we do. We have a large vegetation room that we have set up, which also houses our mother plants. We have a clone nursery room as well that's maintained separately. And we have about 30 different strains that we're running in the facility, or cultivars or strands. Everybody loves to argue about that.
Yeah, when something different, right?
So, yeah, and we've gone vertical with the vegetation racks. So we have 2 levels of essentially just pallet racks with pallet rack trays in them, so that we can veg our transplants for a short period of time under LED lights in there, and then move them into whichever flower room that they're going to be going into.
So for our listeners, let's help them understand what we're talking about. When we're talking about a clone, we're talking about keeping a mother plant in a vegetative state constantly throughout the year so that you can cut clones off of her, right? So when you're
Correct.
talking about the veg state, you're going, and I'm seeing the market move towards this too, with that stacking on the veg side. Are you letting those plants get 3-4 feet high, 2-3 feet high? How big are they getting on that double stacked trays?
So when we veg the plants on the trays, we only let them get a foot to 2 foot high before moving them into the flower rooms to flower them. The mothers, they're on one side of the room essentially, and they're in larger pots, in pot rollers. We move them around the room as necessary, and
Nice.
they're, we keep those in vegetative growth underneath LED lights as well now. And we let the mothers, in some cases, depending on the type flower. So our sativa plants, our heavy sativa plants, will typically get 6 feet tall. And at that point, when they get that tall and we prune them back several times, we will basically start a new mother of that plant.
Sure.
And keep the genetic line going.
I've seen a lot of companies that are now moving towards tissue culture, obviously, and they're starting with, they're basically getting rid of their mothers, essentially, trying to breed out all the imperfections of that baby that may be there. And tissue culture is being something that's really really getting a strong foothold in the industry. Is that something you guys have looked at all?
We're starting to look into investing in the training, because we don't want to go at it halfway. We want to get the proper training and learn how to do this right, because it is a cleaner, more stable way of cloning your genetics, it seems. Everyone that is entering that market is really able to produce a lot of genetic material to produce more and more plants. And those plants I believe they're able to remove a lot of the issues that comes with cloning a plant long term.
Correct.
And through the tissue culture process.
Yeah, I think it's a really clean method. The problem there is the setup cost. Obviously, that's where you've got to have the clean room. You have to have all the right equipment to do it. And we're talking about a microscopic level, essentially, of cloning something. So it's tough, but I'm with you, man. You set it up and you do it right. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. So I think you guys are definitely going in the right direction by looking at that. We got about 5 minutes left here on the Veterans for Cannabis podcast today with our guest, Justin Turcotte, and he is owner of Ember out in Montana. Justin, tell us about the product line that you guys have. What are you making? Are you making mostly tinctures? We've talked about flower being king. What all kinds of different products do you have in the store?
Well, Josh, I think we've probably bit off more than we can chew with the product offerings that we have. Just because we want to be able to provide as much variety and options for patients to medicate as possible. But at some point, you kind of have to draw the line. It's like, okay, that's enough things. We've got,
right.
Being vertically integrated, we can't produce 100% of the things 100% of the time. So we offer, at any time we could have 30 strains of flower in the store, which includes pre-rolls. We offer, we've actually partnered with some brands, one of those being Jane West, and we offer their mini joints. So we produce their product here with our flower and sell those in our store. And then we also have our own line, or our own brand that we started, called Firewatch Cannabis, which is a line of edibles and topicals. So we're trying to bring that Washington, Oregon, Colorado, California feel to the medical market, so that here in Montana, so that people don't feel like they need to drive to Oregon, Washington, California, Colorado, and then bring those products back here and potentially get pulled over and charged with trafficking and things like that. So we're trying to bring those brands to Montana and produce them here so that they don't have to do that. But we offer big cartridges, various different concentrates, a number of different edibles, which my amazing mother cooks most of those, or makes most of those by herself.
So awesome. So awesome.
She is pretty awesome. She's a great baker. She makes all of our cookies, our brownies, peanut butter cups, gummies, you name it. She makes it all. And we also have a great line of topicals for folks. Sometimes you don't need to medicate, internally. Sometimes you just need to lather up that sore leg or that sore back with some body butter or some sports cream. And so we have those offerings, and we have a ton of CBD offerings, one of those being the Veterans for Cannabis CBD line. We sell a ton of CBD as well as the THC side of the house. And even for 4th of July, again, my amazing mother, she made dog treats. So even our furry friends, we've got products for them.
Wow, that's awesome.
We've got just about everything. We try to be people pleasers, but we don't have everything.
Well, you guys are people pleasers, in my opinion, Justin. It's been such a pleasure to have you as a guest here on the Veterans for Cannabis podcast today, and actually really looking forward to potentially getting you back in the future, because we didn't touch on extraction, we didn't touch on formulation or all that good stuff. Obviously, your mother, that's phenomenal, and to be a family-owned business and to have that set up. Brother, that's what this is about, and I so appreciate you getting your mother and your father involved and the siblings that you've got. This is a family business. Let's try to keep everybody to build it that way. So I can't say thank you enough for being our guest here today.
No problem. I really appreciated the conversation and the time.
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. I'll tell you what, before we go, if you don't mind telling the people where they can reach you at, do you have a Facebook? You got a website, all that good stuff?
Yeah, we are on Facebook and Instagram. Our handles are Ember Sea Falls, as in Columbia Falls. And then we have our own website, EmberMT, as in Montana.com.
Awesome. Justin Turcotte, he's our guest here on the Veterans for Cannabis podcast, and I'm Joshua Littrell signing off. Justin, thanks so much for joining us today. Take care.
Line over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the drums coming everywhere, so prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware, we'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.